All right, here we are. We are back. I mean, yes, back. As in Seattle Sports Weekly. It's been a bit of a time, and well, this is usually what we do. I'm Osvita Mara Ere. This is Seattle Sports Weekly, and what we do here, we cover sports, all the Seattle sports, and and we try to give you the perspective because we're there, let you know what's going on, the story behind the story. And there's a lot of stories going on in Seattle sports. And it's interesting because as sports does. And that is that things can go well, as the Mariners were doing really well, and now they're stumbling a bit. And then also, of course, we're going to talk about the Seattle Sounders and the League Cup win and just what that means to the city, soccer, and and as you know, we will bring our soccer analyst, Peter Hatrip. He is a Seattle Sounder legend. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But there's the Storm. Just here's a team early on in the season. They were battling for the fourth place in the league, and then somehow they hit a 6 game tailspin, and then they win 5 in a row. But they had a devastating loss last night to the Los Angeles Sparks, led by Kelsey Plum, former UW. And she also played, obviously, for Las Vegas Aces. But it was just devastating because they were up by 17. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Just absolutely gut wrenching. And now Seattle's holding on. They have 2 games left in the season, and one against the Liberty, and then one against the team in front of them, which is the Golden State Falcons. And so it's all there for them. But you walked away from key climate pledge last night and just said, "Oh wow." Um, just real devastating because you're up by 17 at home, and you end up losing that just because of bad decisions, and just really stagnation on offense. So it's yeah, there you go. It's really keep hope alive. So, and I said the Mariners, of course, they're somewhat of a tailspin, but they lost last night, and they will Tampa Bay, and they will play again tonight, and they've got to get their act together as well. So they were 2-2 on the road and lost 2 of 3 to the Guardians, and last night Tampa Bay Rays whooped them 2-10, and it's interesting because they're playing those games on the road are at Steinbrenner Field, which is the New York Yankees training center facility, but the Tampa Bay's field is unplayable right now, so that's where those games are. But more in terms of the happy, there you go. The 3 games out, the Mariners are, and 5-5. So I took a hit, just like I'm saying. So we do have one positive, glaring, celebratory discussion to talk about, and that is the Seattle Sounders winning the League's Cup. And I'm just really honored to have Peter Hadtrip come on because Peter, go ahead and slide in here. But you know, I'm just dying to hear what this means to you and Smetzer and just that soccer community, what that win meant, and then we can break it all down. But just what is that? Sounders beating Lionel Messi in Miami 3-0 in the Leagues Cup.
And it's an amazing night down at the stadium. The atmosphere was fantastic. Almost 70,000 people in there, and the team came out and played, and they looked good from the beginning of the game. They made it difficult for Miami to play, but more importantly, they attacked, and have as they've been doing since the Club World Cup. They've attacked with more purpose. They've been more direct when they've got into attacking positions. They haven't been so conservative, and they rode their luck a little bit. I mean, I think we roll back the chance Messi had, and I would make a big bet on that, him scoring 99 times out of 100. But sometimes you have to ride your luck a little bit, and a good team takes advantage of when you get a break. And they took advantage of it, went down and scored again, and unbelievable night. Another trophy in the cabinet. I think people that have complained about the coach or anything else over the years don't understand how hard it is to win trophies. And I think as professional sports fans, more than anything else, they seem to forget the other team are professionals too, and they're trying to win as well. Everyone gets so upset. Oh, how can we lose? They're trying to win too. It's not like you get to win just because you're our team. And Brian's put together a hugely deep roster with Craig Weibel and the management that gets knocked, but no Oriola that we expected to play a big part this year. No Jordan Morris, who they expected to play a big part. No Albert Rusnak. No Nuhu. No Kent. A lot of people that they said, well, we need these guys. No Stephen Fry. And no problem.
Yeah, we can go tactics and all those things, but it occurred to me that Brian Smetzer's psychology, communication skills. He's craftier than most people realize. The more I think about that, because as you know, you can have all the best players, but you got to have a great communicator up top, along with his assistant coach. And I'll let you speak to this and why I say that. It wasn't intentional. It was intentional when he said the whole thing about they have Lionel Messi and we have Paul Rothrock. And he actually said Snyder Brunel and a couple things. And he rode that comment all week. And everybody kind of, played around with it. But Peter, to me, it was the underlying us against them collective coach speak that he said to the team. And I think he got the public to buy into. Is that a fair assessment or not?
I think it was definitely tongue in cheek. And I mean, it looked great when Rothrock gets the last goal and has a big part to play in it. But like you said, he didn't just mention Rothrock. He went down the whole list of people. And it was partially to get a laugh, but it's also partially to say, we've got a whole team here. They do have Messi. And Brian does an unbelievable job. And I think this is the hardest thing in pro sports. He keeps the whole squad engaged. And the guys that don't play still feel part of the squad. And there's been a couple issues over the years when guys think they deserve to be in all the time. And, so when he calls upon these guys that maybe haven't played as much, they're ready to go. And they're not sitting over there sulking, going, why wasn't I playing last time? Why? And that's a huge part of the game. Because, like you said, tactics, I think the fan thinks tactics are more important than they are. I really do. It's 10 against 10. They talk about formation this way. Yeah, a little tweak here and there can help, but eventually the players have to do something. And when you get them to all buy in and feel that they're all part of the team and all part of the squad, and you watch guys that did not play in the game posing with the trophy afterwards, you realize they all feel a part of it. They didn't feel like, well, I'm just over here, I'm not in the plans. This wasn't my day. But sometimes you're the supporting actor, sometimes you're the star. And I think he does an unbelievable job of getting them to buy into that.
You're a coach, obviously. You're playing. Is there for people to look up as a legend, but his practices. You've been there, and he's talked about it a little bit. But to me, they're very competitive, and to your point, they have everybody engaged. How has that parlayed into the game? Is that I mean, because I think that's an important part of it.
Oh yeah, and I think if you watch, they're not only competitive, but they're also fun. They have fun. The guys enjoy themselves, and practice can be drudgery at times. It's a long season. They started training in early February, maybe,
Yeah, absolutely.
and they're not even close to being done. You know, with any luck, they're playing another 3 months, and to keep it competitive, to keep guys feeling like if I do well in practice, I have a chance. Which some coaches, you know what, practices are almost exclusively in some clubs for the first 12 or 13 guys on the roster. Then the other guys, if you want to get anything out of it, you got to do it on your own. So the fact that he keeps them all engaged, he keeps it competitive, he keeps them in the mix. You're training and working hard, you might get a shot, and you don't know when it is. As opposed to, I can work as hard as I want, I'm not playing. And there's some clubs and some teams that's the way it feels.
All right, let's I gotta remember if I got all this right, but let's take a I think we've got about 3 minutes of the highlights there, just so we can go back and see some of these goals, and then we can talk about them. So I believe.
Right, here comes Alex Roldan, 10 yards from the end line, whips it in! Oh, De Rosario! Brilliant ball by Roldan on the right! And it's De Rosario, right place, right time! The Sounders go up 1-0.
And just listen to this crowd. It's a fantastic goal. He had a chance earlier on that he missed. This time he makes no mistake. The Sounders getting in behind. It's a fantastic cross from Alex Roldan. And De Rosario was all alone. Great contact. Ball into the back of the net. Sounders up 1-0.
Whipped in by DePaul. Pushed them, headed away by Jackson Reagan. Georgie has it. Needs to hold it. Jackson Reagan cuts the ball well. Here's Georgie. Now the right left-hand side. Here comes Georgie. 3 green shirts against 2 pink. Georgie has it. Inside the 80 yards. Not step over towards the end line. Cuts it. Goes down. Penalty! Brilliant by Georgie. Yellow card given. And from
I'm going to pause it there, and that's a 82nd minute sub. Speaking to people getting engaged, right? Georgie comes in and makes this move. So, all right, we'll go ahead and
one side of the field to the other. The Sounders win a penalty and a chance to go up 2-0.
Big time, Georgie. Absolutely. That's why he came on. Because he can do things other players can't. Very direct. Drives at the back line. It's a very, very clever little cut he has there in the box. No question whatsoever. The trailing leg catches it. There's no debate. That's a penalty.
Alex, there was his wonderful cross for De Rosario instead of the first goal. Can he double the Sounders lead? Takes a step forward. And rolls it in the back of the net! The Sounders go up 2-0. They celebrate together in the far corner here. The subs, the green shirts, the fans are on their feet. Has that solidified Leagues Cup for the Sounders? They lead 2-0.
Well, just brilliant. Listen to that crowd. Alex steps up with...
And there's Stefan Fry. I mean, we saw some other players right there, but for Stefan Fry, and you wouldn't expect anything less, but go ahead. I can't hear Peter. Can you hear us? Daniel, we can't hear Peter. I'm gonna roll the video and then let's try to get him back.
Extreme confidence, so cool, so calm. so collected, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, puts the ball into the bottom right corner here from his angle. No chance for the goalkeeper. Sounders now with about 5 minutes and some change, 2-0 up, and it's one hand and a half on the trophy.
Full house here at Lumen Field. Brilliant support. Thank you, Sounders fans. And here comes Rothrock. Can he put icing on the cake? Here he goes. The 18, yes, he can! Oh, the Sounders fans up on their feet! And it's hometown hero, Paul Rothrock. They have Messi, we have Rothrock. Sounders lead 3-0. And that's just about that. The Sounders will win the 2025 Leagues Cup.
It just had to be. The moment Brian Schmetzer spoke those words, this was written. It had to be Paul Rothrock to put the icing on the cake. What a moment for the young guys. What a moment for the Sounders. League Cup champions. Wow.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I don't know how you're feeling, because I mean I get goosebumps, and I am I just cover the team, you know what I mean. But for somebody who's been in the soccer community, for this team to do that, I think is just amazing. So, all right, are you back? Okay, so we can't hear Peter in terms of the we're having a connection there. Um, he's gonna try to come on. We'll get him back on. But again, I go back to you all as a broadcaster. You get a perspective when you cover a team, right? And perspective, and there's some closeness you get with the players a little bit, but you're still a professional. But and I'm happy for them. But this win cements not only Brian Smetzer and the Sounders as one of the best teams in MLS history. I mean, if you look at it, the Sounders have won every conceivable. They won 9 major trophies: 4 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cups, 2 MLS Cups, 1 CONCACAF Champions Cup, 1 Supporters Shield, and now a Leagues Cup. They have won every conceivable trophy that a Major League Soccer club can win. That's just how incredible this win was, and it cements the legacy of the Sounders. And, you know, the way that they're doing it, we talked a little bit about that with Peter. That is, there is this mix of young players coming up through the system. When you're looking at Rothrock, even though he went to Toronto, but he came back. You're looking at Asaze De Rosario, the young man came up Tacoma Defiance and paid his dues. You're just seeing Snyder Brunel. You're seeing this mixture, Georgie Manungu as well. All these players that came up within the Sounder Academy. And there's some people have said, well, how come you don't spend, big money during the transfer window closed a week back in some days there? And Sounders didn't spend. And so it's very interesting to say, for them to win without spending money. And I mean, so at some point, Brian was very diplomatic, and he said it's reciprocal. He said we've had big players, Raul Ruiz, Clint Dempsey. Those are all some, and now Pedro de la Vega. These are all players that are were big money, but now they're winning it. That is brick by brick. Daniel, can you see if we can get Peter back for the last few minutes here? And yeah. So we'll get Peter on here. I just want to hear his thoughts here on what's next for the Sounders. Where do you go? Peter, can you hear us? We can't see you, but maybe we can get you on audio. Yep.
I can hear you now. There, I'm back.
All right, perfect. You know what? I
Yeah.
just showed the highlights, which you saw, so we're glad to have you. Just showed the highlights and just talked about building from brick to brick. Any more comments? Because you're the guest. What else is in your mind here? We got these last 10 minutes that you about this you know this team.
Yeah, it's interesting. People want to see a big splash
Mm,
and a big signing, and I don't think they understand. There's one, you have to find the right player. Two, that club has to want to sell him. Three, you have to find a price that fits for everybody. And four, that player has to want to come. And there are players that it's going to be hard to get to come and play on turf. I think that's a reality. And in the meantime, are you building a sustainable club? And I think that's been proven. You don't need to spend a ton of money. It's great if you can find the right guy that fits your culture, that's going to be the right guy for your city and your club and everything, and the right price. It's not a matter of just saying, well, we want that guy. I think everyone would have been excited if 2 years ago we would have said, let's get Neymar. I don't know that would have worked out very well. It sounds good. Is he going to fit? Is he going to buy into being what we know as a Seattle Sounder? Ladero was not really a big money or a huge name when we got him. He was a very good player, but he wasn't starring for his national team or doing anything unbelievable at that time. They found the right guy at the right time. It's not so easy. De La Vega looked the part right when he came. Then he had some struggles. And I also don't think people have any idea how hard it is to go to a completely new culture, completely new country, completely new city, new language, all these things, and then just go, well, why aren't you a star immediately? I think he might still come good over time. But, he's done a lot better in this last couple months than he had in the previous year and a half.
Yeah, you can tell the way he's playing. To your point, and more specifically in the pace when he has the ball, he's got that determination. And I remember a play or two where he used his skill and then he laid the ball off as well. So here's someone that understands his value to the team, but also understands that it takes, as you said, 10, right? I mean, it takes the other 9, well, maybe 11 if you count the goalkeeper. But, I can create space, but I'm creating it for my other players. Osazo Deros, D-Roll, younger D-Roll. Did you play with his dad?
Sad to say, no, I'm too old to have played with his dad.
Oh, okay.
He got in the league after I was done.
Okay. I'm with you, partner, because I'm, the years all kind of get in there. Oh, man. All right. Yeah, well, we're going to talk. I got some Seahawk talk, and you see these guys talking Seahawks already, but we're talking Sounders. These Sounder fans out there, we want to hear from you. All right? Just we got a few more minutes here with the Sounders legend. So, anyways, what are you seeing from Osazo?
I think he's I say Brian's man management was huge for him because he missed some easy chances when he first got in the team. And he kept going back to him, kept giving him chances. And now you've seen 2 big goals in the last few games. The one down in LA when he juggled and scored, and then the goal the other night. And that's what he can do. He's an out and out old school 9. You know, he's not his dad. He's not a creator. He's not. Put him in front of goal. You know, he's a handful. He's big, strong, tough to defend. You know, and now he's starting to come good, and he's gaining confidence, and he's playing better in the buildup as well. So, you know, he's, you know, I think everyone looked at, oh, what are we going to do? And then you look, and Wasowski and Di Rosario have done great in the last 2 months. They've made a huge difference, and that's, you know, keeping that whole squad involved and ready to go is paying off.
Yeah, I tell me a little bit more to tell us about what do you mean by he's better in the build-up?
Well, he almost was a non-factor. Now he's coming back and holding up the ball and finding somebody. You know, he's an outlet when you're playing out of the back, when you have to go front to back sometimes, because you can't always play ticky-tack through the middle. It looks great, but sometimes you have to bypass and go up front. And he's been better when they've played the ball into him, of either receiving it and finding somebody, or drawing a foul and getting us out of pressure. And all those things happen. And that makes a big difference when you can get out of the back, hold the ball up, especially when you've been under pressure for a little bit. When the ball comes out, if it comes right back down your throat, it makes it tough to defend. When you get a chance to get a breath, get out of our end, now we can get forward, we can get our backs up, and the Sounders are good when their outside backs get forward, you know, as evidence in the first goal. And you can't get Alex Roldan into that position if you can't get the team out of the back.
Mm. Speaking of Roldan, should Christian Roldan be on the national team? Hey.
He should be in the picture, but you know, it's everybody thinks their guy should be in. I don't know, and haven't seen enough when he's in a national team. Is he the same player? And I don't mean that in a negative. I think he,
different position
for the national team, can be kind of the Swiss Army knife, because when you have a 23-player roster and you need depth at each spot, you could say, if we need him, he can play holding midfield. If you need him, we could play him at outside back if we really had to. If you needed him, we could play him out wide. So he has value there. Has he done enough when he's with the national team? And this I don't know, because I haven't seen him a lot with the national team. We don't know what happens in camps, and we don't know how he does. Is his league play good enough? Absolutely. You know, but that doesn't always translate. So I'm hesitant to look at somebody and go, that coach is wrong, he should be there.
Fair diplomat. Well said. Way just to go right in the middle there. And I think you absolutely bring up a couple good points. I think if you're looking at it from this point, you know, yeah, you're gonna say, hey, you know, for club, he's doing great, and then the national team where he plays, because I'm not even sure on the national team, Peter, he's playing in the middle, like he's playing with the Sounders, right? Because that was a subtle switch, maybe not so subtle, and so to your point, that might be the difference in terms of how they're playing him, if and when he gets on the national team.
And sometimes that flexibility hurts you a little bit. You're almost like, well, what are you? You know, we bring the national team. What is your role? What are you going to do? And I think even for the Sounders, that was kind of a mystery for a little while. I mean, he started and made a huge difference to the team playing alongside Ozzy when he first came into the team as that double pivot. When Ozzy was getting a little, not quite as quick, so those unbelievable tackles were starting to be easy yellow cards. But then when you cut the space in half that he had to cover, he was still effective. And along with Ladero, that switch, I think, is what led to the first championship in 2016. You know, and then we kind of wanted him to get forward more because he can do it. But did that take away from his overall, effectiveness.
Well, I'm sure the Rave Green Nation is happy he's with the Sounders because right. So right now the team is on a roll. So there you go. He's Peter Hattrick. Peter, thanks. We're back in rotation here, so we're gonna bring you back on for your expert analysis because I mean you're the best, and we're just lucky you graced us with your presence. So thanks, Peter, and we'll talk to you next week or the week after.
Sounds good. Hope we keep talking about wins. It's more fun.
Absolutely. All right, so there he is, legend, Sounders legend, the U.S. national team, Peter Hattrick. We're gonna go on break, and yes, we will talk some Seahawks. We're gonna go on the depth chart. I'll give you an idea what I saw yesterday at practice. Hawks are off today. They'll be back on Wednesday. For Seattle Sports Weekly, I'm Asvita Marire.
Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Stay safe in the heat this summer. On hot days, more people have serious health issues like heat stroke, heart problems, and kidney failure. People who are pregnant, older adults, children, and outdoor workers are more at risk. Certain medications and health conditions like diabetes can make it harder to cope with heat. Check with your healthcare provider. Stay cool, drink plenty of water, and take breaks from the heat, especially if you work outdoors. This is a message from Public Health, Seattle, King County.
Hey y'all, it's Traffic Jam with Kareem.
Thursday at 4 p.m.
Hey, Traffic Jam. Brand Avenue Radio, download the app so you don't miss out. What's poppin', what's crackin', what's shining. It's your boy, Kareem the Dream, on another beautiful week on here on Traffic Jam in Seattle. I hope you guys doing what you're supposed to do, being you're supposed to be. I got a good show for y'all, a lot to talk about. You know, Kareem the Dream, keep up with everything.
Get your entertainment news with Kareem on the Traffic Jam, Thursday at 4 p.m.
A teacher who hurt their back and got prescribed opioids. A daughter trying to cope with a loss in the family. A friend silently struggling, thinking they'll be a burden if they ask for help. People with addiction come from all walks of life, and the truth is they stand a better chance at recovery with our support. Reaching out and sharing local resources can make all the difference. Don't count them out. More people recover with support. Find more ways to help at supportaddictionrecovery.com. That's supportaddictionrecovery.com.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on RainierAvenueRadio.world. Join your hosts Violetta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
So my doctor told me to go online to check my test results, but I didn't know how to do that. Thankfully, I could turn to Link to Care WA for help. With Link to Care WA, I was able to learn how to use online health portals, use telehealth to talk to my doctor virtually, and manage my prescriptions online. I called the hotline and spoke to a real person who taught me the skills I needed. Call Link to Care WA at 866-757-1832 or visit linktocarewa.org.
Would you like to see when your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio show comes on? Check out our show schedule, updated weekly at RainierAvenueRadio.world.
All right, we are back. This is Seattle Sports Weekly. I'm Peter Marire. Thank you all that are watching on the YouTube and where else? I think we're on Twitch. I mean, just so. Appreciate it. We're gonna pivot to the Seattle Seahawks. I know some of you are already chatting away, so I want to hear from you. And all right, I'm gonna get right to it. So here is the Seahawks depth chart, and just kind of we went over this, and again, you can always go to CascadingSports.net for the content, but I don't think there's a real big surprise in Jackson Smith-Njigba. Torrey Horton I'm gonna kind of give you a video of him. He's back, and so rookie Cooper Cup. Those are your three wide receivers. Now the big discussion: offensive line. Not a surprise. Left tackle Charles Cross. Your left guard rookie Gray Zabel. He's just been stellar. And if you've been up on the YouTube channel, you'll see the videos posted up there. You've heard from Mike McDonald, and this young man has been a plug and play. In the practices we've seen, he just does not look like a rookie at all. And then a bit of a surprise, but not really. Jalen Sundell is now the starting center over Oluwatimi, and that was based on his back. Oluwatimi's back sent him back, if you will. No, he didn't get as many reps, and so that put him a step behind. Mike McDonald said yesterday, let me finish the other two. Obviously, Anthony Bradford at right guard and Abraham Lucas at right tackle. McDonald said yesterday, look, the first player that'll come off the bench will be Oluwatimi, and then they can move Sandell to whatever position they need to plug him in because his versatility. And that's good news. Excuse me. And that's not so good news. Why I think it's not so good news, it means that Josh Jones, Rich Mason, and Bryce Cabledew are not quite ready, are not NFL ready game. They're not ready to step into a game should something happen to another player, right? So if Lucas has to go out for a play and Anthony Bradford has to, sit out a few plays, and you bring in Oluwatimi and then you switch Sandell, there's an issue as backup there. So to put it more simply, your backup, you only have one person that's NFL ready coming off your bench. Now, you normally like two, but that's okay. So I'm gonna go back, see if I can show this. This is really good news yesterday for all you Seahawks fans because Torrey did come back, and we saw him get on the field. In fact, the Seahawks were quite healthy yesterday. In the 10 minutes we saw them practice, there was a lot of players that returned. Jake Bobo was one of them, and Torrey Horton. As I said, he also returned from because he was hurting an knee issue, so he was back on the practice squad. And the other thing that Mike McDonald talked about was that Ken Walker. He said Ken Walker is on schedule, and in terms of where they needed him to be. Now remember, they held him back a little bit. That is Ken Walker because because of his injury. So the idea here was let's give him reps, but let's be careful. And so he's ready for week one. Definitely can say that. And that's good news. And everything we've seen from him, he's practiced really well. And so, you need a healthy Ken Walker for this team to go. What else did we see yesterday? Again, Jake Bobo was out there, and the other player, Uchenna Nwosu, practiced on the side, and he looked like he's ready to go. And so that is good news. I don't think, it's a race to get him back for week one. So I would tell you to go up to, stay on the YouTube channel there and go to CascadiaSports.net, because what happens tomorrow after practice, you have to look up there later. What happens is tomorrow the Seahawks have to submit an injury report, and all NFL teams have to do that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so we'll see what that looks like. And if you remember on that practice participation. There is really rest, limited, and then out. So I'd be interested to see where Uchenna falls on that uh, injury designation. And Tyrese Knight is another one. He had a medical issue. He came back to practice, and so that's good news. And I think he should be set for week one. Again, we just have to wait and see tomorrow, and then Thursday as well. If you ask me, my overall feeling of the team here, they have a concept on the offense of what they want to do, and it worked well in the Kansas City game. What, you went 268 yards there. Green Bay, you didn't play your starters. And the offensive line is getting it, right? And as I said, you've had some success. The question is now, how does that stack up against who, that is the 49ers? Do you understand enough of it? And by now you should, that now you're not thinking about what you have to do offensive line. Now you're just executing. And remember, they're doing this wide zone kind of blocking, and they worked on it all summer. And that is in terms of, let's say on the right, you're going to take one step, the guard takes a step, the tackle takes a forward step, and your tight end takes a forward step. So you kind of do that, almost a wall there, and you're going to bring your running back around. And to do that, you have the offensive line, you have to be quick and powerful. And some of the videos we've shown where you could tell it was about get the offensive line to take that step and then pivot, right? Turn and get into the defender. And the other thing the Seahawks will try to do in their blocking scheme is to get that tackle on the secondary past the first line. So the idea is to push your man, Abe Lucas, Zabel, Cross, Bradford, Sundell, what have you. You've got to move you're the person that's in front of you back a couple yards. If you can do that, then the person next to you in the blocking scheme can get to that next level and maybe get to that linebacker. Why is that important? Because then you've got a fullback. Seahawks are going to go heavy with the fullback, and right now Robbie Eates, is the starter, and so the fullback becomes another blocker in that gap there, and then that should open up the hole for Ken Walker. That, in theory, is what they are trying to do, and so we just have to wait and see. We'll be there tomorrow. But again, what we get to see here is the first 10 minutes. And Mike McDonald will talk tomorrow. And so will Sam McDonald. And now, as far as a defense, I don't, I got to be honest. Outside of Tyrese Knight, there's nothing that says this team is not going to continue to take that step forward. Leonard Williams, not only does he look the part, he's been playing the part. And so he looks a little slimmer. And Byron Murphy, look for a big year for Byron Murphy. He's had one of those real quiet but consistent training camps. He's hungry, and he's pushed some people around. Jaron Reed, the same thing there. Right. So then the question is, DeMarcus Lawrence, what can you expect? I would say how much and how long can you expect from D-Law in terms of plays? So Derek Hall backs him up, and they do like to rotate. That's what I like. Aiden Darday, they do like to rotate, the front there. But, Lawrence obviously is the veteran, and if he can give you, how many plays do you need from him? 20, 30 plays, maybe. And we'll watch that and report back. But that's you get maybe we better get 35 out of him. And then as I said, depending on Uchenna Nwosu, I think Boyan Mafe really has to have a big start. Yeah, I mean a big year, and he has to have a fast start. He's played the part, and he looks like himself, having a little bit of fun there, but he has to start fast. And Ernest Jones looked fine, and I said Maurice Knight, and again, Ernest Jones is the defense, the green dot. It runs through him, and so got your middle linebacker. He had missed time, but he's back, and so he looked good yesterday. And he had to change his shoe. He complained that his shoe was too tight on his right toe, but you know, um, Josh Jones, Julian Love, Kobe Bryant, Reek Woolen, and Devon Witherspoon is your rear guard, if you will. And they're solid. They've been solid. They had a solid preseason. What I would look at is Nick Emenwari and how they're going to use him. We've seen him, the Seahawks, in practice. We've seen him use Emenwari, in the box, to rush on some plays. We've seen him as a linebacker. And then we've also seen him in the slot, in the line, in the strong safety there. So multiple positions, and they've been intentional in just giving him enough install that he's not overwhelmed. So now we'll just have to wait and see on Sunday is he going to play, 75% of the snaps? No, but situational is where you look at him. And I also think they will try to get him some reps, get him comfortable. And as the season goes, you'll begin to see he'll get more and more playing time. And that's their plan for him. Where is also the other big kind of mystery, which they're intentional in keeping under wraps. And they'll probably use him in a couple positions. And as I said, I think they'll use him he's going to be a blitzer. And the key is for the offense not to know where he's coming from. And obviously, same can be said for Devon Witherspoon. And I got nothing. If you're asking me about Devon Witherspoon. And what I mean by that is that he's just has been dialed in, focused, practiced hard, and intelligently when when we're out there for full practices. He's looking at the big screens there in practice and, the scrimmages and, talking to other players about, hey, they had two deep and then they had one over there. So there's all kind of, he's just taking the next step. The other question marks I would take a look at, again, is, what does Cooper Kupp look like? He looks the part. How are they going to use him? And can he sustain? He's got to stay healthy. So, but you know what? As I rambled on early on in terms of the receiving core, but Cooper Kupp is who he reminds me of? If you listen to him, he's like a Steve Largent, just in terms of the wisdom and when you talk to him and just how he moves out there. Real smooth, purposeful, but very articulate. So, Sam Darnold. Yes, I would say yes. I don't think he's going to take you back in terms of the team because they're not asking him to win a lot of games. Now, Kubiak has said, yeah, if we need to throw the ball 30 times, we'll throw the ball 30 times. If we need to run the ball 30 times, we'll run 30 times to be diverse. But look, don't go for the coach's speak. The Seahawks want to run the ball, and I kind of went over their scheme, and they want to use Sam Donaldson as a game manager. Can he throw the deep pass? Sure, he's got an arm. He doesn't have a Geno arm. There's no doubt about that. But he's a good manager of the game. He'll be able to throw the outs. He'll be able, the 10-15. I think it's, if I liken it to basketball, he's got a mid range, and so you might not need that superstar wide receiver, because I think what the Seahawks are going to do, got a question out there, what the Seahawks are going to do is death with 1,000 cuts, right? They're going to hit you with Smith-Njigba 10-15 and Torrey Horton maybe another 10, and maybe get him down there, down the field, and then bring Cooper Kupp. And then in that, you're going to come back and do play action. So it's really this, like I said, mid-range. It's a team with a bunch of mid-range shooters. They don't have that, somebody who's going to get you 20. They don't have a Steph Curry. They just don't. But they got a lot of people they're going to give you. So we'll see if it works. But in order for it to work, you have to have the running game. And that will be the key. So we'll definitely have the videos for you, post game and those kinds of things. But so there you go. Yes. I did Rock McDonald's. Yes. And I think it will get first downs. I think their idea is to, like I said, as a boxer, body blows, and then maybe try to hit you with that one knockout punch. But they're not going to swing for haymakers. That's just not who they are and who they want to be. All right, so we'll switch. What's up when you got Sunday? I would say I'd like the Seahawks pull it off. Am I being a homer? Maybe I just want to have a good Sunday in the press box. But I think they do. I think the crowd comes out. I think the Seahawks do just enough. I think they win by a field goal. Their defense is good enough. Their offense will struggle a little bit, and Shanahan's going to bring in a prepared team. But I fear the Rams more than I fear the 49ers. And you got to get the 49ers early, and you do have them early. Because I think coaches like Shanahan, and I also think in terms of McVay, they don't become bad coaches overnight. So you got to take your chances early when you have them. First week, anything goes. So there you go. All right, so we're going to switch to the Husky fans, yes. And I'm going to bring in, I don't know this, but we got a CascadingSports.net's we now have a Husky beat writer who goes out there, covers the games, and he was there for day one. And so, Andrew Bailey, are you available? Let's see if
Yes.
in here.
Hello.
Hey, there he is. Looking kind of spry there, my young man. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Maz?
I'm good. All right. So, look, you saw the first game. What were your impressions of, the Huskies game against Colorado State?
Well, we ran the ball really well. Sorry, not we. The Huskies ran the ball very well. I got to learn that. I've still learning. Yeah, the Huskies ran the ball very well. Their running backs each got touchdowns. Adam Muhammad, Jonah Coleman each got touchdowns. Jonah Coleman rushed for 177 yards, was named co-offensive player of the week in the Big Ten, so that was a big deal. He also got a game ball from Coach Jed Fish. The whole offensive line got a game ball. Coach was really happy with their performance. He's hoping they continue to keep improving week to week. He was very pleased with Drew as a party and his improvement from year to year. They've been working exceptionally hard to get him ready for this season, teaching him new techniques and also getting him the nutrition, getting him bigger, getting him stronger so he can have a better season. And they're really pleased with the improvement that he had. So there's a lot of good things for them to build on this week.
Andrew, you were there, and I think you mentioned, and it was Colorado State. So it wasn't Colorado because Deion was not there. So Deion Sanders, you were there at Jed Fish's press conference, and like you said, he talked about the offensive line. Did he go any further in detail what he liked about the offensive line?
He said they graded out really well from all the grades and all the film that they had reviewed of each of the players. And the reason I highlighted as a party is because he was the highest graded of the in the unit, either highest or second highest according to Jed Fish. And he liked what each of them did, and he just wants to continue to see them get more physical, more aggressive as we keep progressing week to week. It's interesting, like he said, the opponents that we played. We played Colorado State this past week. We play an FCS school this week that won 11 games last year in the UC Davis Aggies. And then, of course, after a bye week, we play the Cougars in the Apple Cup. So, or the Huskies play the Cougars in the Apple Cup. So, and so, yeah, he likes the way that they are progressing, and he expects good things out of them to continue. And it's all about continuing to build and getting more physical and aggressive as we get deeper and deeper into the schedule and get into the Big Ten schedule where they really need to show out and perform at a high level.
So the offensive line was Jaron Hatcher. You had Landon Hatcher, and then Carvin Willis. So 6'4", 6'2", 6'5". Drew Azapati, who you talked to, he's 6'7", 315.
Big guy.
Started at right tackle, and then also at left guard, John Mills, 6'6", 320. So these are big boys. And so time is up. Andrew, we got to go, but real quick announcement here. Rainier Avenue Radio's first broadcast of football season is this Saturday, the 6th at noon, featuring Franklin, number 19. No, Franklin at number 19, Garfield, featuring live play-by-play commentary, of course, sideline interviews, multiple camera angles, and up to the minute scores and standings. So there you go. You heard from Andrew Bailey a little bit. Now it cut him short. The Seahawks segment always goes long, but you know what? We'll have Andrew. Thanks for coming on, and so we'll have we're back, and so Seattle Sports Weekly is back, and thank you all for watching on YouTube, and again, you can go up to CascadiaSports.net and read Andrew's comments. All right, D Money, woo! Way to take us through. It was a rough one after 6-7 months back. So thanks again for everybody listening. And D Money, thanks for all the work you did.